We got this news from Axios. Democrats are threatening a government shutdown after the Minneapolis shooting. What? Okay. Well, rank and file Democrats are starting to make serious noise about using the threat of a government shutdown to force substantive changes at ICE. Their anger after an ICE officer shot and killed a 37-year-old woman in Minneapolis set them on a collision course with party leaders. Chuck Schumer said earlier this week the shutdown was not on the table. Blah, blah, blah. But progressive lawmakers see the end of January funding cliff as a leverage point to exploit as they fume about DHS Undersecretary Kristi Noem. So I'm just going to say this. The Minneapolis shooting is an excuse. There was going to be a shutdown at the end of January the whole time because if you paid attention to when they passed the bill temporarily averting the shutdown or ending the record-breaking shutdown, it exempted them and a few other key areas. And so I remember talking to my wife about it. She's like, so wait, they're exempt? Yeah. Till when? I think September. But then what? Everything else stops in January. Oh, so there's going to be another shutdown. Yeah, but they're fine now. They basically said, pay us and we're good. Everything else can shut down. We knew this was coming. This is an excuse.
Yep. Yeah, everything that they've been doing thus far is just them waiting on something they can latch onto, then execute on their goals. Because the reality is they're out of power. The reality is the avenues that they have back to power are rapidly being cut off, and they do not have a monopoly on information anymore. So all they can really do now is just set up plays, and they just need certain cards to be played, like certain cards for the dealer to lay down for them to be like, finally, I can execute on this plan, because they don't actually have a lot of political viability right now. The only pathway they have back into victory is if the right just completely self-destructs.
They haven't cleared anything.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, so true.
They're still historically low approval rates for Democrats.
Yeah,
so as they need Republicans to do things that they can latch onto and infuriate their base, because right now no one likes the Democrats. They've got half the party thinks that they should be like Mamdani and AOC and Bernie, and half the party thinks that they're just completely and totally inept.
Because they're used to the Republican Party being the perpetual perennial opposition party and being the party of managing the decline in a little bit slower way. They're not used to a Republican Party, well, really an administration, because the GOP by and large is still useless, but they're not used to a Trump administration or a Republican administration that's actually actively pushing the country in a different direction, that's actually providing an alternative vision. And that freaks them out, and they realize oh crap, we don't have an admin that we can play ball with. We don't really have many options. We don't have many levers of power.
I also think they're losing a lot of funding from all the rackets they've had around the world, whether it was through USAID, whether it was this Minnesota stuff that we saw over the holidays. All their funding is kind of getting cut off.
Yeah, USAID is.
That's going to give them a lot less legs going forward.
So they're desperate.
They're very desperate. They're not going to have that ammunition they had in the past.
Well, we got this post from Gunther Eagleman. It says, CNN is doing everything they can to make this woman into a George Floyd 2.0. And it's in Minneapolis. So surprise, surprise. Here's the, let's play the clip.
Hospital at this time. Let's go to Laura Coates out front in Minneapolis. Laura, what are you seeing there?
There's a huge crowd of people gathered within blocks of where this woman lost her life at the hands of an ICE agent. And I can tell you, I went through the crowd today, and there is anger, there is frustration, there is extreme sadness. I spoke to a group of 3 sisters whose father had been deported during the first Trump administration in 2018, and they expressed that they wanted to be here because they could not believe that they believed somebody was killed just trying to present their voices. They didn't want anyone to go through the devastation of having to navigate what it's like to have ICE, they say, terrorize a community in a way that they had experienced. Others in the community who were nearby expressed their frustration and shock at this being just a few blocks away from where George Floyd killed. They also expressed they had felt this way even before this tragedy happened today. They were afraid that ICE would, one person telling me, in actuality, do more than what is required under the law just to satisfy the President of the United States. Now, there has been mixed reaction in terms of the reaction of the administration stateside in Minnesota, but also Secretary Noem and President Trump's own social media posting. But the real frustration, the murmur you're hearing everyone talk about, is recanting exactly what happened. And there is a consistent drumbeat and a through line here, Aaron, and that is they do not believe that they were entitled to shoot this woman. They do not believe that if there was any imminent threat of bodily harm. And as you well know, there's a kind of a phrase, kill or be killed, that can govern the activity of law enforcement.
Whoa.
If they are in imminent bodily harm, of imminent lethal harm to themselves or others, they can take action. Many of them are recanting how they could simply have sidestepped the vehicle and still have been safe. It is eerie tonight to see how this has all transpired in a year. There's always been so much tragedy here in Minnesota, from the shootings of a political lawmaker to, of course, Annunciation School recently, and everything in between. And of course, George Floyd looms large here, knowing that this is the very jurisdiction in Minneapolis where it was law enforcement who spoke up against the excessive use of force and got the conviction of one Derek Chauvin.
Oh, here we
They
go.
want to make this like an activist
right, Laura Coates,
tourist destination.
You know, I was thinking, Trump and Rubio and the administration and Stephen Miller talk about how we can reduce a lot of these like violent crimes and rapes by deporting these illegal immigrants. Have they considered deporting white liberal women?
I don't think they have
It would
considered, but they
help.
should.
Just
Send them back.
you're a white woman. Are you a liberal? Yes. Gotta
Out.
go.
Awful's out.
Awfuls.
Are you married? Do you have cats?
Are you married? Do you have cats? Then it's okay. Are you married? No. Do you have cats? Not okay. Then you gotta go. You gotta
Send 'em
go.
back. I'm not sure where back is, but they should go back.
We can create an island and call it Themyscira, and we can welcome all of these women to run their own country and send them there.
Guantanamo Bay.
Just constantly pumping The View over loudspeakers.
Yeah, the language here on CNN, these are activists. Did you guys see the fight over CBS that's been going on?
In
With Barry
Netflix.
Weiss.
And
With Barry
what
Weiss.
which CBS fight?
So Barry Weiss comes in, takes over the news, and then you get this guy, what's his name, DeCouple or whatever is this anchor. And because he's just reporting news, the corporate press, like Brian Stelter, are freaking out.
Wow.
He literally, there's a 17-second segment where he goes, Donald Trump accused the Democrats of misleading people on January 6th. However, Democrat leaders have said that Trump is trying to rewrite history. And that's it. And they're like, how dare you? It's like, well, what should he have said? He should have said Orange Man bad. And because he didn't. So you look at CNN and they're still very much on this train of, why don't you all do a George Floyd? CBS is now starting to be like boring and neutral again, the way news is supposed to be.
Wow.
CNN is still like, can we burn everything down? That'll be
What
fun.
else
Good
do
for
they
ratings
do?
too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
CNN was basically the kind of the flashpoint for the whole hands up, don't shoot thing with Michael Brown, and that led to Ferguson being burned down, and then that's what led to Black Lives Matter and to the riots in 2020. So I mean, they are it's agitprop in pure form, like it's just agitation propaganda, and they're looking to see people get out in the streets and perform the same kind of riotous activities that they did in 2020.
Yeah, we got this tweets. Andy No says, wear a mask, learn to shoot, do this immediately. Antifa-linked far-left extremist accounts like Vitalist Int are telling comrades all over social media to recall the lessons of the 2020 BLM Antifa riots to engage in violence now after the anti-ICE car rammer was shot dead. Oh, boy.
They're chumming the waters. They're like, who's going to take it this time?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think they expected consequences for these things. I mean, because they were allowed to operate with impunity for so long, and that was the status quo. And so they've been telling people, go obstruct, go yell, do whatever you need to do. And they don't expect, actually the agents are going to, when their lives are threatened, react.
I wanna tell you guys a story. Did you know? Do you know why people don't chew gum in Singapore?
oh yeah, because if you throw gum on the ground, they'll cane you.
That's correct. So when you go to Singapore, the streets are beautiful. You go to New York, it's like a zebra, like you're walking across.
Yeah,
like literally, have you ever actually just looked down and looked at all the gum stuck into the concrete? So in Singapore, they made gum illegal, and you will be caned. So no one chews or spits gum.
With a sugar cane?
Something a little
And
more.
it's public
stern
too,
than
I
that,
think, where they're just like,
Wow.
bam, and it like lacerates your skin. The point is, why is that a woman thought she could obstruct federal law enforcement and then flee? Like, vehicle ramming aside, like, what made this liberal white woman be like, I can just do this?
No consequences.
Exactly. We have seen for the past several years zero consequences for far leftists. Now let me put it like this. Why does someone think it's okay to chew gum and spit it on the sidewalk and stay in the sidewalk? Because we don't care about that. We don't enforce against it, and there's literally no activists being like, ban bubblegum. Singapore does. Different culture. The point being that the same way you feel about chewing and spitting gum, which is like, whatever, I guess don't do it, is how these people feel about obstructing ICE. They're like, it's fine. I guess no one really cares. So they're going to, and they're going to escalate. There's a question then that some people have been asking. And I wonder, do you guys think leftists may actually stop after this? Because some of these wackaloon lefties are only going out because it is socially acceptable. How many of these lefties are going to be like, I don't want to die?
I think they're going to use it to create more theater like they do with all the Handmaid's Tale role playing, like cosplaying stuff that they would do. I don't know. I think they're just going to use it to be like, oh, like, if we protest, we could die. Like our life is in danger if we...
Maybe. I don't know for sure, but I do think it's a fair assessment if one were to argue. They're going to be like, I was just LARPing. I don't want to get shot.
Yeah, I do think they react to strong power in some ways. I mean, it was like with Singapore. What was this, like the kid, Michael Fay, I think was his name, and he went over there and he like spray painted a bridge, and then they gave him like 6 lashes. And like his dad was like Bill Clinton's buddy or something, right? We have a Singaporean here, so it helps. And he like bailed him out because a lot of Americans, obviously, we have, and I think sometimes it's a good thing, but we do have a sense of entitlement to these sorts of things. And then we go overseas like Brittany Griner and think we can just like do things the way we
rock
do things
the
back
ganja
home.
in Russia.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, you get smacked down. Guess what? They're not doing that again. Why? Because most people do react to power. Most people do react to strong power, order, et cetera, et cetera. So I actually agree with Tim. I do think these people in some ways are a lot of talk. There's going to be a contingent of them have nothing to lose. They don't really care. But a lot of people like on the left, on these far left, maybe far left aligned or adjacent, probably will actually turn. That's an unpopular opinion with the base, but I do think some of them will react to this and go, oh, geez, I don't want to get shot.
I hope it quells some of the like recreational activism. It's like, all right, it's not that important to me. I'll go do something else.
What if Trump just came out like on TV right now and just said like, to all of the protesters fighting against ICE, we're going to shoot you. We're just going to shoot you.
Yeah.
We're just going to pull out our guns and bang, and you're gone.
Donald Trump, if you can hear me, please save me, Donald Trump, please. Just kidding. Disavow. We shouldn't do that. But it would work. I think a lot of these people are talk, and they view, because you see at these protests, at these riots, they have like photographers that take photos for Instagram. That entire contingency, that entire group is gone.
But do you think that some of these people are going to get offered hazard pay by their employers now?
Yeah, well,
Soros?
Soros is going to be like, you get
so.
time and a half now because Trump might shoot you.
Yeah, if you get shot.
They have really good health insurance now.
You get Well, you get a bonus, but you get hazard pay. It's like, so if you're one of these, here's my advice to the paid protesters: just demand time and a half.
Yeah,
Like, look,
pay.
I'm risking getting shot here if I'm going to show up for work to pretend to be an activist.
Literally. Yeah, but there's always going to be the contingent of people with nothing to lose, and they've already cut themselves up, or they've already wrote off their families, so they just have nothing actually to fight for outside of their sort of vision for this communist utopia. Those people aren't going anywhere. Those people are going to continue to agitate.
There's some real radicals out there,
Yeah.
and they're going to continue. And then you have like the media, like CNN, that will fan it and make them feel good about it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.